You are in for a real treat. This episode was originally recorded for my other podcast, but for you, it's been upgraded and transformed, and now you have the Ask the Pro show. So everything mentioned in this episode will now be found on chrisdufay.com, plus so much more, as I've designed the Ask the Pro podcast and chrisdufay.com to give you exactly what you need to grow your business success and for you to have the money, the freedom, and the happiness you want, making a bigger and better impact to the world unselfishly. So now it's time to delve straight into this episode, and I want you to lap up and enjoy every single second of it. Barry, my man, thank you so much for coming onto the Turning Pro Academy podcast. We've been chatting for a while before we've hit record, and I'm just loving everything because I know this episode is going to be an absolute chock full of nuggets. So, look, I've got a big list of questions for the topics for us to cover, all surrounding marketing automation and how, firstly, probably a lot of people are like, what's marketing automation? And this is something that they're going to want to be really sinking their teeth into. You are the man, and that's why I brought you on here. But can you please tell the listener, Barry, who you are and why you're so phenomenal?
I don't know why I'm so phenomenal. I saw a great tweet today that says, I've always heard you are what you eat, but I don't remember eating a fucking legend.
That's so good. Thank you for that.
That was the best tweet of the day. But yeah, happy to talk about that. I'm all about marketing automation. I run a website and a business over there at theactivemarketer.com, which is all about how you can design, automate, and scale your business to the next level using marketing automation and sales funnels so that you can really leverage your business so that you can get the right message to the right customer at the right time. So all about helping people sell more stuff and get more customers.
I love that in a nutshell, and that's really powerful because that's what people need.
Absolutely.
Right. Barry, marketing automation. Let's dumb it down. Let's open it up to the entrepreneur, the business owner that obviously isn't as clued into the online marketing world. They're listening to us because they want to know, what is marketing automation?
Right. Well, in a very simplest sense, it's having a system that's smart enough to deliver the right message to the right customer. So typically how everybody starts out with email marketing is that they build a list, which is absolutely the right thing to do.
Yep.
And then they'll most of the time, they don't even use it. Most of the people I come across will sit there and gather a list. They'll have some opt-in and a lead magnet on their website to get someone to give them their email address. And probably 8 times out of 10, they're too afraid to mail them in the first place. So it just sits there unused. If they are smart, they're sending regular emails to their audience base to try and engage with their audience and build that kind of know, like, and trust factor so that they're more comfortable with buying from you. But what most people will do especially if they're on kind of the more basic systems like Aweber or MailChimp, they'll just blast out like a weekly newsletter or a monthly newsletter to everyone so that everyone, say you have 2,000 people on your list, all those 2,000 people get the exact same message. And it's not going to resonate with everyone. So if you're lucky, you're getting kind of conversion rates of 2 or 3% on those emails because I'm getting a bunch of general information that I didn't really want. And the stuff I do want is buried down and below somewhere. So what marketing automation does is it allows you to segment your audience based on a number of different factors like behavior or interests, for example. So in the fitness industry, for example, if someone comes to your website and you have a couple of different themes on your website, you've got one that maybe you've got body weight exercises and you've got some nutrition stuff and you've got some cardio stuff on your website, and someone's opted in, and let's say they've opted in for a lead magnet that has to do with nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
Well, quite clearly, they've expressed an interest in nutrition over those other things. So rather than blasting them with everything, now you can target them specifically with more information about nutrition. So your system, so when they opt in for the lead magnet, instead of just getting a basic thank you message back, you might have a 3 or 4 or 5 autoresponder series about nutrition. So you might have a thing about carbs and a thing about protein and a thing about, smoothies and shakes. So they're getting an email kind of every couple of days or every week about nutrition, and you're sending them exactly what you want. And then at the end of that autoresponder sequence, you can upsell them to some sort of nutrition coaching program or something like that, right? So you're not blasting them with body weight exercises because they didn't want that stuff. They wanted information about nutrition. And the system is smart enough to segment those people. Obviously, you have to set it up in the background first, but you could have a series of autoresponders there. You could have one for the nutrition, one for the body weight exercises, one for the cardio, for example. And so they have 3 different lead magnets. And then when they get one lead magnet, they start getting messaging based around that interest they've displayed. Does that make sense?
Mate, that was absolutely a great wrap up of marketing automation. And I just really don't want the listener to kind of miss that, because there was so much gold in what you were saying. And you and I definitely understand the power in which the automation factor has in a business, because really what we're talking about is creating an engine that's working 24/7 for you to start really pushing people into giving them the right content, for one. So as you said, that know, like, trust factor, very important. If you're just cramming information down someone's throat and they really don't give an absolute 2 cents about it, they're just going to fall off. They're going to unsubscribe, or they're just going to get the shits with you and they're just not going to listen to anything else you have to say. So obviously what you're saying, especially with the power of behavior-based and segmenting those people, being able to talk directly to that person, knowing that what you're talking to them about is exactly what they want to know. You're touching on those pain points and you're being able to give them the solution. And then obviously, as you said at the end, then you're able to go, hey, look, I know you're obviously interested in nutrition. You've showcased yourself as an authority, the go-to person, because you've given them so much value and content. And then you're able to go, this is my nutrition coaching course, whatever it is. And then you're able to make it work for your business.
Yeah, and you can imagine that if they've been receiving that nutrition information and opening it and engaging with it for the last 3 or 4 emails, and then you upsell them at the end of that sequence, they're much more likely to buy than if they joined your list with a generic opt-in. Yep. And then you sent them some generic offer back. Those conversion rates are going to be very, very low compared to a specific offer based at a specific topic.
Fantastic. Now, this obviously leads into what a sales funnel is. So I thought maybe before we kind of really start digging deep, could you, Barry, open up and unveil, kind of look under the skirt of what a sales funnel is?
Sure. I think there's a lot of unnecessary mystery around it, but basically, so if you're trying to target somebody with a specific interest, or in probably in this case a specific need, right? You're out there to solve someone's problem. So again, in the fitness industry, either they're not feeling well about their body, or maybe they just want to take it to the next level or whatever, but they have some itch there that needs to be scratched, some problem that needs to be solved. So you find that group of people, and you create a product that solves their problem and takes them on the next step in their journey, whatever that's going to be. And you start with a landing page, for example, so if you have a product, again, based around nutrition, for example, on how to eat right, or I know you do a lot of fat loss stuff, so kind of what foods to avoid for fat loss, or how to eat right if you're trying to, get cut for a competition or whatever. You create a landing page there with all the benefits of your product. And you try and drive traffic to that landing page. Now, there's a number of ways you can drive traffic to that page. You can either try and get organic traffic to that page during search engine optimization, or you can buy paid traffic like Facebook ads or Google ads, or you can do some sort of joint venture traffic. But those are really kind of the 3 major categories. So you get traffic, you drive it to your offer on your sales page to get them to opt in. They opt in with their email address and their details. And that could be like the sales page could be there in one of 2 cases. One, to just get an opt-in and get someone on your list so that you can upsell them, or it could be to sell the product right then and there. So you might sell the product straight off the sales page.
Can I just butt in, Barry, and just of wondering your thoughts on this? Do you think that driving people to a sales page rather than, say, a squeeze page to get an opt-in is a good option, or is a viable option for many people? And I know it's a broad strokes question, but I'm kind of just wondering what advice you have for the listener.
I think it kind of depends on the offer and depends on the audience, which is kind of a cop out there.
Yep, but that's right.
I think it used to work much better driving someone straight to its sales page. Yeah. I think now that internet users are more savvy and they've seen more sales offers and they've seen more sales pages and they kind of have offer fatigue, I think now you're probably better off driving them to a squeeze page, getting the opt-in, and then responding after the opt-in with some sort of autoresponder sequence that addresses that problem that they opted in for.
Yeah.
So The sales page gets their email address. The email address goes into your marketing automation platform. You have an autoresponder series set up, ready to go. It might be like what seems to be working well at the moment. It might be like a 3 or 4 part course. So you might have join my list to get a free 4-week nutrition course, right? And so the 4-week nutrition course is you sending out a couple of emails a week with a new lesson about nutrition and how to eat for fat loss, for example. And then at the end of it, you can upsell them to a paid product. That formula seems to be working well for a lot of people at the moment. So it does what we talked about, is you're solving their problem and providing value straight off the bat, rather than just asking for a sale straight off the bat.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in a split with so much more for you. Now, I know you're listening and tuning in because you know how important your health is and how this can also catapult your business. This is why I'm very happy to say that this podcast is sponsored by My Body Blends and my favorite, the Superfood Elixir, the powerful greens drink. Now, this is designed specially to boost energy, aids detoxification, enhances the ability to burn fat, supports healthy carbohydrate metabolism, and best of all, is voted best tasting greens drink. Now, myself and the My Body Blends team are looking for ambassadors to join, so you and your clients get the health benefits plus adding in a strong income stream for you and your business. The ambassador program, which is by application only, means you get exclusive access to sell My Body Blends products like Superfood Elixir to your clients, plus giving you the special ambassador pricing and bonuses. So once you become an ambassador, you can join the other top health and fitness players that are adding thousands to their week's income. Now, there is only a limited number of ambassadors we are taking on board, as this is a tribe leading the way together. So to apply and to join, go to mybodyblend.com/ambassador, or add the checkout code that is TurningPro, all one word, when you're going to get your own Superfood Elixir to order. Plus, you're going to get free shipping and a bonus to save yourself over $250 instantly. So just use that coupon code TurningPro in the checkout and you can save over $250 right now, all on mybodyblend.com.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, because that was just a reason why I wanted to ask. Is I kind of feel that a lot of people these days now, like, everything's been seen, and I think everyone has their bullshit alarm straight up. Do you know what I mean? When you're on the web, so kind of
absolutely.
I think also it comes down to just your website. When someone lands, there's that subconscious or even conscious decision in, is this a giving website or is this a taking website? Like, is this going to help me, or are they just trying to pitch something to me? And it goes into why I think it's so important to, and we both do this, is just give away remarkable content, like just absolutely pushing content that's good quality out all the time, because I think you just have to get past people's BS alarms first up with that.
Yeah, and I think the real world analogy I like to use is, so in your arena, if we're talking to personal trainers, imagine if you're a personal trainer and you walked into a gym and it's full of, say, 80 people are working out in the gym. So there's 80 potential customers there in that gym. And if you see somebody doing an exercise wrong, they're not doing a bench press right or whatever, and you walk over and you correct them and you go, hey, you get a better result out of this if you just tweaked it a little bit like this.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, and they go, hey, thanks, and you walk away. And then maybe at the end of the workout, you come up and go, hey, if you ever need more help, just let me know. My name's Chris, and here's my card. You'd have a much better result than if you just walked into the gym and went, right, there's 80 people, and you just walked up to every 80 people and said, here's my card, buy my training. Here's my card, buy my training. They'd be like, dude, get away from me. I have no idea. So yeah, I think you're better off warming that prospective customer up with some value first. And then those people who resonate with that message will want to find out what else you do.
Yep, absolutely. I think you've hit the nail on the head with that. So you touched upon it before, and I just think this is an important part. Look, sales funnel, it's just marketing mumbo jumbo talk for just how you can lead people on to have that know, like, and trust factor for you, and obviously get them to do what you want. And that's usually buy something from you and be able to keep giving them value. Can you go a little bit further into driving the traffic to the top of the sales funnel? So obviously you talked about the three main avenues. What do you like to use? What do you find works? And what's your advice with those three?
So just to summarize it, there's basically four major components there. You've got the traffic to an offer to get a conversion to an opt-in, and then there's some sort of follow-up sequence. So those are the four basic elements. But if you're talking about traffic at the front end, I actually think if you've got a reasonable conversion rate and you've got a decent offer, paid traffic works really well. If you know what the lifetime value of your customer is, right? If you go, right, I might be selling someone on a $47 nutrition course or something, but I know that typically they stay with me for 2 years and they buy a bunch of other stuff. So their lifetime value to me might be $250 in products. If you know that customer lifetime value, then you know how much you can spend to acquire a new customer. So if you have to go out and do some online marketing and it costs you $5 to acquire a $200 customer, well, that's a pretty good deal. Mm. If you have no idea about those metrics, it might be a bit scary to go out and buy paid traffic. But I think the problem with organic traffic is that Google changes the playing field so often that you might have a couple of great pages on your website that are ranking really well for key terms, but then tomorrow, all of a sudden, bang, that's all gone. Because Google's changed the search algorithm and they suddenly don't like something that you've done. Yeah. And I've seen it happen. Like I've seen number 2, number 3 ranking pages overnight just disappear. And there was nothing spammy about those pages at all. Wow. They were fine. They were adding value. They were just straight up content. But Google decided that they didn't like the site's privacy policy or something. And then all of a sudden, bang, the pages are not only are then out of the first page of Google anymore, you can't even find them anymore. That's
a real kick in the guts. And I think that's a great point that you've brought up, because I think what people should be focusing on is obviously getting to that point where obviously they can drive paid traffic to their offer.
Yeah. And so people have this kind of weird notion in their head that SEO is free. and that just because it's organic traffic means it's free traffic. And that's not necessarily true, because you have to spend time optimizing your pages. You have to spend time doing keyword research. That's all time you could be doing something else. So you're paying an opportunity cost. So that 3 or 4 hours that you're doing SEO could be, or paying someone else to do it, could be 3 or 4 hours you're selling products. So I think paid traffic becomes much more predictable. I know if I spend X amount of dollars, it will result in X amount of people hitting my sales page or my squeeze page.
And that's exactly where you want to get at with your marketing, isn't it?
Exactly. And it's much easier to budget, right? Okay, if I spend this much on traffic, I'll get these many opt-ins.
And kind of the, sorry, mate, this popped into my head just then. It's kind of the analogy when you think about marketing, it's not like a slot machine. It's not like you put $1 in, you give it a churn and you don't know what's going to happen. It's more like a vending machine. You put the $1 in and you know exactly what you're going to get out of it, and you want to keep replicating and scaling that up.
Exactly. Over time, it becomes more predictable. Mm-hmm. So you can say, right, I know if I spend X number of dollars, I'll get X number of people in my squeeze page. So I get 100,000 people in my squeeze page, and out of that, 30 people will opt in. So now I know what my conversion rate is. So if I know what my conversion rate is, now I can do one of two things. I can either double down on that front end traffic, and I know if I'm converting 30 people, now I'm converting 60 people.
Yep.
Or better yet, I can work on that squeeze page and try and up the conversion rate. So if I can up the conversion rate from say 3% to 6% or 10%, I'm getting more opt-ins without spending any more money on the front end.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. No, I think that's great.
Yeah. So then you can do split testing, right? So you can say, right, this squeeze page converts at 6%, right? So that becomes my control now. And then I tweak some of the copy and I tweak some of the colors and whatever. And then I split test them, which just means that when, say, I get 1,000 people to my site, 500 would go to version A and 500 would go to version B. And I can test version A against version B. And I can say, well, right, version A converts at 6%, version B converts at 4%. Okay, that's rubbish. And I can keep trying to beat version A with a number of different alternatives until I find something that, say, converts at 10%, and you go, right, okay, that becomes the control now. So that becomes the one to beat. And you can keep tweaking until you get the kind of your conversion rate plateaus.
Perfect. Really going into the whole optimization process. That's a completely new episode and ball game. But really, that's opening Pandora's box right there. So, but you've like explained that perfectly, and I really, really appreciate you obviously putting it into a nutshell. Now, I think what a lot of people are thinking right now is like, right, I know the power of marketing automation. I know I've got to be doing it now and putting those systems into place. The tools, everyone goes to the tools first. What do I use? How do I use it? Let's delve into, obviously, starting from the bottom end and working our way up, what there is for people in the marketing automation world.
All right. So you can kind of draw a line between an email management system and marketing automation where there's your ability to tag people based on their interest or their behavior. And what I mean by behavior is these systems are even smart enough to know that someone's visited a certain page on your website. So if someone comes to your website and they hit that page on nutrition, let's say 4 times, they've come and viewed that page 4 times, bang, that can be a trigger to go out and tag them with an interest in nutrition and then start sending them targeted information about nutrition, right? And that all happens behind the scenes automatically. So the defining factor is, can you tag them based on their behavior and based on their displayed interests? So if you look at the typical email marketing solutions like MailChimp and Aweber, which seems to be where most people start out, they don't really natively have that ability to tag and segment. They both have recently come out with bolt-on tools that sit on top of the platform that allow you to kind of halfway do it.
Yep.
Because they're getting their lunch eaten by the bigger kind of marketing automation platforms. But that's really putting lipstick on a pig at that point. So you're trying to pretty up a system that was never designed to do what you do in the first place. So if you look at the systems that allow you to tag and segment like that, there's a few. The kind of the more well-known ones are Infusionsoft, Ontraport, ActiveCampaign, and then there's a new one that Rob Walling has launched recently called Drip.
Yep.
And they all allow you to tag and segment your audience based on behavior and preferences and that sort of thing. And they range anywhere in price from, I think Ontraport starts at $300 a month, and ActiveCampaign starts at $9 a month. So
now this is a great point, because I think this is something we really want to touch on, and we're talking about this before we hit record, is a lot of people starting out, kind of like the newbie, the rookie. I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, ActiveCampaign will probably be a better suited option for them. So say for myself, the way I've gone through things, even in the last 7 months, I went from Aweber to Ontraport, and then now I use Infusionsoft and love it. But obviously that's a beast of a system, and there's a lot going on there. And obviously as well, if people aren't, and they're starting off, they just don't have the actual income, and then they're not really able to say, okay, I'm going to spend this amount per month on it. I seem to be that ActiveCampaign might be their better option. Would you agree there, Barry?
Absolutely. People always ask me what's the best tool, and that's like going into a hardware store and going, what's the best tool in here?
Yeah.
And the question you're going to get back immediately is, well, what are you trying to build?
What are you trying to do?
So,
great point.
If you're a bigger company and you've got staff who can support the system in-house, you've got 10 to 20, 50, 100 employees, then some of those bigger systems will be a better fit probably. If you're an entrepreneur or a PT and you've got a small business, 2 or 3 people, and you're not all that tech savvy, you're not going to have dedicated support, then I would say ActiveCampaign is a really fantastic tool for a couple of reasons. One, it allows you to get started inexpensively. So whereas Ontraport's got that $300 at the low end, $300 buy-in, and it goes up from there. That's a big chunk of change for a personal trainer, for example. Whereas ActiveCampaign, if you've got 500 or 1,000 people on your list, you're getting started for under $20 a month.
Yeah.
And if you understand Aweber or MailChimp, the interface of ActiveCampaign is easy to understand. So it's not a big leap like Infusionsoft and Ontraport, where there's lots of weird flowcharts and stuff to build. It's pretty easy to understand. And you can start out by doing the same things you were doing in Aweber. And then as you get more comfortable with the tool, you can start using more of the advanced features and more of the advanced features as well.
I think it's great. So I think what a lot of people really need to take on is just take it on as a stepping process. Do you know what I mean? Start small with what you're confident in, what you're capable for. And then obviously as you grow, just like I have, you take the next step up. You take the next step up, and obviously your business growth then matches the tools that you need.
Absolutely. So, the the job of running your business is never done. So don't think you're going to install a piece of software or create a website and that's going to serve you for the rest of your rest of your business life. It's always going to evolve with you as you evolve, but you want to make sure that you have a system that's going to evolve with you as well. So you might start really simply with ActiveCampaign, for example, on, say you have a list of 500 people that starts at $9 a month. But you can start doing really clever high-end marketing automation with your tiny list. And then as your list grows, say it grows to 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 people, you'll pay a bit more for that higher number of contacts, but you should be making more money out of them by then as well.
Yeah, great point. Obviously, as your list grows, you should be monetizing from that list.
Absolutely.
Because you're doing such a good job listening to us.
Exactly right. So you followed everything Chris told you to do and you're killing it.
That's boom. Thank you, Barry. I'll pay you for later for that one. Now, I think what a lot of people ask and might get confused is a lot of people just make things way too complicated for themselves. I, for one, have done that before. I remember when I very first started with Aweber, and I had from years of writing articles and magazines and everything like that, I had a lot of content to be able to give out. I literally started off, because I just wrote for days, I'm pretty sure I had about 55 emails in my autoresponder to kick off with.
Yeah, that's probably a lot.
That's a bit of overkill. Like, okay, way too much. What do you think people should start out with, and how do you think they should go about building the actual automation, the system inside it?
Well, funny thing, just before we get onto the actual how, I've been interviewing a lot of the kind of really successful high-end internet marketers recently for my podcast, and I've been asking them to share sequences and some of the things that they're doing. And what I found out from the vast majority of them is they're doing really simple stuff. They're just going, right, 3 or 4 email sequence as a responder, and that's it. No one's doing the really kind of super branching logic, if this, then that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just keep it really simple, find out what works, and just double down on that. So simple is actually best here. But I think a good way to get started, if you're coming from a platform like Aweber, for example, is have a number of opt-in funnels at the beginning. So like we kind of alluded to before, your customer might be after 3 or 4 different things. So figure out what those 3 or 4 different things are and create a lead magnet that addresses that need for that customer, right? So if you have a customer avatar that's interested in nutrition, or you have a customer avatar that's interested in whatever competition, preparing for a competition or something, have a lead magnet specific for that avatar somewhere on your website. So normally if you're doing a blog, your blog will have a number of different categories, for example. So you might have 3 or 4 categories of different posts. So you could have an opt-in for each of those different categories.
Beautiful.
And there are either some really clever opt-in tools we can talk about later if you want to, that will display a different opt-in based on what category your post is.
Absolutely.
So if you've marked a post as fat loss, then it will display a different opt-in form than if you've marked a post on exercise or something.
We'll definitely get into that one.
So have 3 or 4 lead magnet opt-ins based on your customer avatars. And then I would say have what I call a warm-up sequence. So if you've opted in for nutrition, you have 3 or 4 email warm-up sequence for nutrition, and then you transition them onto your main list. So they're getting the main list messaging from there. So that you've got 4 funnels, warming them up with the information they specifically asked for, and then they join your normal mail out list that you might be doing every week or every month or something like that. And at the end of each one of those warm-up sequences, you could be sending out an offer specifically for what they asked for. So nutrition coaching or fat loss coaching or competition coaching or whatever.
Perfect.
That way you're not maintaining a bunch of different sequences, because eventually everybody joins your main mail out list.
Yep. And what about your use of broadcasts?
Broadcasts, I think, are all right, provided they're, again, providing value. I just interviewed James Schramko, who I know you're aware of as well. And one of the things he said, if I send out an email, I've got one criteria for it, which is the customer's got to be better off for opening it and reading it. So if you're just blasting out stuff for the sake of blasting out stuff, that's probably not a great strategy. But if you're providing value with every email that you send and the customer's better off for opening it and reading it, then that's probably all right.
Actually, that's a really good point that you did. It was the only way I use broadcasts from not that long ago. It was actually, I've taken this from James himself, was just a wrap up email of the week. Obviously, I've produced a bunch of content. There's great new things out there that I've done, and I just put it all into a nice little nutshell and send it off out onto there and say, look, this is the stuff that you can sink your teeth into if you've missed anything, rather than obviously blasting them the whole time and making sure that every time I send an email, obviously it's just jam packed with value.
And if you wanted to get really clever, what you can do with marketing automation like ActiveCampaign is you can have what's called conditional content. So say you're sending out that weekly wrap up and your customers are tagged one of three ways. They're tagged with an interest in nutrition, or they're tagged for an interest in competition, or they're tagged for an interest in fat burning, right?
Yep.
So what you can do is you can have your weekly roundup go out, but you can have the first. So let's say it's outlining four blog posts that you did during the week in your podcast, or let's say 3 blog posts that you did during the week, one on each one of those topics, and then a little bit about your latest podcast. What the conditional content can do is it can make sure that the people who have that nutrition tag against their contact record, the first story they see is about nutrition.
Yep.
The fat loss people, the first story they see is about fat loss. The competition people, the first story they see is about competition. So the very first on that weekly roundup, the very first thing at the top of the list of the weekly roundup is the thing they're most interested in.
Mm. I guess at the end of the day, all this really is, when you boil it back down, is you're just making it easier and simpler for your customer, and you're just making sure that you just keep giving them good quality stuff.
Yep, right message to the right person at the right time.
Fantastic. Okay, no, this is really good. Now, before we wrap this up, you brought in a great topic, the opt-in tools, Barry. Unveil.
Yeah. Well, there's no shortage of them, right? I know you use Opt-in Monster on your site, yep. And there's which is a plugin. There's also external services like Lead Pages, Instapage. But I've recently come across one that was just released, and I did a podcast about it a couple of maybe last week, called Thrive Leads. Mm-hmm. It's a plugin as well, and it allows you to create opt-in forms. Obviously, it's similar to what Opt-in Monster does, and it has all the different kinds. So it's got the slide in that comes in the lower right, or it's got the light box that pops up over the top, or the ribbon bar across the top. Get my latest greatest software comes across the top. But it also allows you to trigger those based on any kind of thing that's trackable in WordPress. So as I said before, if you put out a new blog post in the categories is fat burning, it will automatically suck in your fat burning lead magnet. If you do one on nutrition, it automatically sucks in your nutrition lead magnet, because it's looking at the category of post that you've categorized that is.
Yep.
So you're always getting the most relevant opt-in for whatever the topic is. And it also has split testing tools in there, so you can split test one opt-in against another one, and you can even split test different types of opt-ins against each other. So does a light box work better than a ribbon bar at the top, or does the slide in at the bottom work better than the in-page opt-in? So all kinds of really groovy, crazy stuff you can do. Not that you have to start, but it's in keeping with that vein that you're displaying the most relevant message to the person at the time. So if it's a nutrition post, they see a nutrition opt-in automatically.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. And I think it was a really good point. Obviously, a lot of people just need to get started. You just need to pull the trigger, get it out there. And then, you know what? In a couple of months' time, let's start split testing, because you'll feel confident. You'll understand your market better as well. So I'm pretty confident in saying that once people have been doing it for a little while, the ways that they're going to split test are going to be more successful rather than just kind of being ad hoc about it. And I think that's really good, because people just need to get out there. And as we said, or you said from the start, and it was an important part, 1, build your list. It's very, very important. 2, don't let it go cold. Get out there and actually get in contact with them and give them great quality value the whole time. And by using marketing automation, this is, yes, like I'll admit, and I'm sure you will admit as well, Barry, there's some work in the back end that you have to do. Do you know what I mean? You've got to put the work up front to set everything up. But once it does, baby, this thing builds.
That's right. And the beauty about the automation is once it's set up, it just runs behind the scenes automatically.
Yep.
But to loop back to your point, people always go, what's the best tool for XYZ? Well, the best tool is the one you're going to use.
No,
so,
great point. Great point.
If you don't use it, there's no point in having it in the first place. So get started simply. And then once you're happy and comfortable with the simply, then you can start to get a bit more clever.
Beautiful. Barry, you have absolutely wrapped this up into plenty of nuggets of wisdom. So I really appreciate this, mate. And before I let you go, obviously, I'm actually going to be seeing you next week in my hometown, Manly, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Very
the
cool.
Milky Bars are on me. But before I let you go, can you please dive into more on how the listener can get in contact with you and obviously everything that you're doing with the Active Marketer as well, mate?
Okay. If you want to learn more about marketing automation, sales funnels, how you can use them in your business, you can hit me up on my blog, theactivemarketer.com. And we also do a podcast as well, talking to internet marketers on how they're using marketing automation in their business and how you can translate that to using it in your business.
Yes.
As I said, I think Active Campaign's probably a great tool for your listeners.
Yep.
The problem always becomes, how do I learn how to use it? So I've got an Active Campaign course that you can get on Udemy. It's retails at $49. For your listeners, I'll create a special offer. If you want to go to theactivemarketer.com/Chris, you can pick up that course for $10.
Oh, Baz, you're the man. I'm going to be linking that onto the show notes. So Turning Pro Academy listeners, you've just been given a big leg up. So thank you, Barry. I appreciate that, mate.
My pleasure.
All right, sir, thank you very much for your time. I'm going to admit it straight up. We couldn't do this earlier today because I had a bloody blackout in Bali. Cop that, Indonesia. But you know what? Everything's back on and we're able to tee this up. So thank you very much, mate. Looking forward to seeing you next week.
My pleasure, brother. It's been fun.
So now it's time for you to click on over to chrisdufay.com. That's chrisdufey.com to get all the guides and show notes. And if you are wanting the workshops where I walk you through how to build your online business, click on over to chrisdufay.com/start here. This is where I can give you the exact training guides and the workshops for exactly where you're at and the answers that you need. Now, every Friday I'm coming back to you with a new episode. So be sure to subscribe, and if you haven't already, you're going to be getting the world's best insights, the advice and the answers to give you the business, the money, the freedom and the success and happiness that you want. And I want to give you a huge muchas gracias for being here with me. And as always, get in touch with me via the site or via social, as Ask the Pro is about me giving you the answers that you need. So ask away.